DeSanto Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy, family-owned business with unmatched customer service. Go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more info or call toll-free at 1-800-752-4574 today. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Victory Monday once again here on Bills Weekly, as the Bills took down the Jets 30-10. Not exactly what we predicted last week, gentlemen, but a win is a win, obviously, in that, and certainly looked a little bit better across the board on defense, mainly, I thought, but we'll get into everything, obviously, momentarily. Paul Russo, Jim Senecropi, Kyle Evans here with you. We'll discuss the game against the Jets. As mentioned, we got a Thursday night game this week to preview for the Bills, and of course anything else that might kind of bubble up and come up here during the podcast. So we'll get to that, but first thing, a couple more of our sponsors, including Cicino's Pizzeria and Restaurant. You can visit Cicino's Pizzeria and Restaurant, their original Waterloo location, or all new renovated location in Geneva. Dine-in, takeout, delivery, catering, and banquets. You can order online at Cicinos.com. Live, laugh, and eat well. It's the Italian way, and GoNetSpeed, the future of connection, is here, and it's fiber made for how we live and work today. GoNetSpeed fiber is faster and stronger than anything out there. You can check out availability in your area as well as plans and pricing at GoNetSpeed.com and get ready for fast and reliable fiber internet straight to your home. All right, 30-10, Buffalo over the Jets. We collectively had some concerns going into this game, obviously, if you remember back to last week, and frankly, for the most part, in my opinion, if you just do it at the box score level, I don't think there's much to really worry about in the grand scheme of it, only because of the way the win was. And for me, more importantly, at least the defense looked competent at the base level.
Dominant.
It was just a really good get-right game for the defense. Offense, I guess you could make some cases here or there for something, but James Cook looked like James Cook did last year, for example. Tough to really, maybe you could probably nitpick a lot here if you really wanted to, but 20-point win over a division rival where you've struggled within this Josh Allen window. It's tough to really complain about that as a whole.
I don't have any complaints or concerns, honestly. We were concerned because historically the Bills struggle at the Jets. Going back to last year where they lost. So, to get a 30-10 win is great, and to be 2-0 to start the season is great. And yeah, the defense was dominant. It was like a Ravens light team. If you go by what happened in week 1, you have a mobile running quarterback, you have a great running game, and the Bills shut them all down, and Justin Fields had to leave the game. And then on the offensive side of things, Josh Allen didn't need to do anything to win the game. James Cook did it all. As a matter of fact, this was the first time since 2020 that the Bills won a game without Josh Allen either throwing or running a touchdown. So if you're a Bills fan, I think it was just great. It was boring compared to 2 weeks ago, like week 1. But, Kyle, I don't know if you feel the same way, but it felt good to get the 20-point win in a place they normally struggle, and minimal injuries, and here we go.
Yeah, and they, like you said, they did this with 0 touchdowns from Josh Allen. They did this with a couple key injuries at Oliver, Taron Johnson out. Matt Milano didn't play most of the second half, and Josh Allen, left for a couple plays, and then even came out late because of the score. And Justin Fields had less passing yards than Mitchell Trubisky on one play.
Right.
There's all you need to know. And then Breece Hall, who we were worried about because of the running game, 10 carries for 29 yards. So, yeah, way to bounce back for the defense. And we seen last year, too. James Cook had that big game against Miami on a Thursday night, I believe. It was 31-10 in Miami. And James Cook was responsible for all the touchdowns, or I think at least half of them. And Josh Allen didn't do much. So we see this team can win in different ways. than just Josh Allen doing what he did in the fourth quarter against Baltimore.
Yeah. It was interesting. I didn't see beauty about some of these weekends for me. I didn't see a lick of football for the most part. And but I was able, because I was in my car going through the Buffalo area yesterday, to listen for a few minutes. And, I think it's interesting because you mentioned, Jim, right, kind of like a boring-ish game in that sense. And, it kind of was nice going through Buffalo, hearing a little bit of the game, and it's not like there was any panic. It was very just like, well, we're winning, kind of keep it moving type
Right
deal.
off the bat.
So, yeah.
Punt, fumble, punt. First 4 possessions for the Jets. And Justin Fields is out of the game.
And what was the stat? The Jets ran just 3 offensive plays in the third quarter because the Bills just kept holding the ball, running the ball, chewing up a ton of clock.
I think it was 38 minutes of Bills had possession.
So yeah, it was just an easy, relaxing game. And then you look around the league and you got a lot of chaos, a lot of close, tight games. And this one, you're like, the Bills got it. Let's move on.
Yeah, and after week 1, you sure the Bills got the win, but we felt like maybe they weren't the better team. Every week's different in the NFL, I suppose, but the bottom line is, to be 2-0 through 2 weeks with a win against Baltimore and then on the road at the divisional opponent at the Jets is the best start that we could have hoped for. And what was scary, though, when, Josh Allen leaves the game, but he did run off over his own power, so it seemed to me like it. I was thinking bloody nose, although I didn't see the blood. It couldn't have been a concussion, right? The way he got up and ran off.
Right.
It couldn't have been a leg or lower body injury.
I mean,
he wasn't holding his hands, but if there's one guy that you don't really worry about when he gets banged up a little bit, it's, Josh Allen. Whereas Joe Burrow, on the other hand, it's disastrous. And that's, a team that we're talking about being a competitor for, in the AFC for the Bills to deal with going forward into the playoffs. And they're 2-0 as well, but certainly not as happy this morning as Bills fans are.
Yeah, one of my fantasy teams has already entered the cooked phase, as I would call it, for
You can pick up Jake Browning.
Yeah,
Gotta
maybe.
make a trade.
I don't know.
They got to trade.
Yeah.
For
Well, that would be something. Browning was okay.
Yeah, Browning, I think,
They won the game.
I think Browning's what, like 4-3 as a starter or something like that. I mean, he's been there almost as long as Burrow has, essentially. I mean, it's one of those things where, I know where you're coming from on the trade Kirk Cousins thing, but I don't know.
Jameis Winston.
Well,
I don't know. See,
I'd pay for that.
Options.
I'd pay for that for the entertainment value.
I'd take Cousins before Winston, but honestly, I think that Jake Browning looks okay. He looks totally competent.
Yeah. The pride of the Pac-12 after dark. I kind of chuckled because I did see at least the video of when Josh was coming off the field. And it's funny you mentioned, right, how it's like, Jim, like you mentioned, it could have been concussion. You couldn't really tell if there was blood. And I'm like, listening to him, like, you would have thought Romo, saw, Josh get, mugged or something on the field. The way
he never
he was
does this.
talking.
He never comes off the field. He kept repeating that line.
I was just I was sitting there looking, and once they put the towel up, I'm sitting there going, he either got poked in the eye or there's a nosebleed.
Right.
It's not.
That's what I was thinking. It wasn't one of those two things.
It wasn't anything crazy, his leg is facing the wrong way or something that.
But credit to Trubisky. How about him coming in 3rd and 7?
Yeah.
32-yard strike to Josh Palmer. He's cold off the
longest
bench.
pass of the game for the Jets. And Josh Palmer was the leading receiver because of that one pass, basically.
Yeah.
He finished with 47 yards, and he was the leading receiver. And, one takeaway I have from that game that it's hard to say it's concerning because they Bill stuck with what was working, which was just running the ball to James Cook. But here we go, another week. If you're a fantasy football player and you got Shakir or Keon Coleman or even Josh Palmer or Kincaid, it's what the heck, But I think similar to last year, some games where, when Cook had the big games, Allen's numbers were down and, the receivers' numbers were down. But shockingly low, numbers through the air yesterday for the Bills.
Yeah. Sometimes it just plays out to be that way. We've kind of alluded to it a little bit here, right? A little bit how, I mean, obviously, I kind of led with it a little bit too. Like James Cook had a game like we saw him have last year, essentially, a lot, right? 132 yards. Look, it doesn't matter what team you are in the NFL. If your running back has like that type of number of a game, odds are your quarterback / passing game is going to have a quote unquote down game in relation to that.
I could argue that last week Derrick Henry had a bigger game than James Cook, but they still.
Well, that's correct, but like that's like an outlier compared to like the norm, quote unquote, right? Like when you look at the Eagles, normally, right, Saquon has a ton of yards. Odds are Jalen Hurts is not going to have as many passing yards. That type of correlation, unless it's like yesterday and, Chris Jones seems to think that 100 yards means you're going to lose, which scoreboard says otherwise,
buddy. That's a good segue to something. So, mention the Bengals.
Yeah.
The Chiefs don't look very good.
Yeah.
Like, where's the competition in the AFC going to come from? Baltimore, obviously. Who else?
Colts are a bust. They're 2-0 as a fluke. We know that. It's Daniel Jones.
Seems that way.
Their defense is good, though. They have a good running back. They have a couple good receivers, but at the end of the day, you have Daniel Jones under center.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't feel too great about that.
Part of me says, ask me tomorrow morning. I'd like to see what the Chargers do tonight with the Raiders.
That's the other candidate. And then the Raiders, I think, are underrated. That's an interesting game tonight.
Yeah.
If you want to stay up till 1:30 in the morning
Right.
to watch an end, which I will be.
Yeah.
And the Broncos, I still think are going to be really good. They lost on that late field goal.
Well, yeah.
Originally was a 60-yarder and it missed, and
It totally cost me a nice parlay too. Really, I mean, you thought the kick missed, and you're like, okay, game's over, and then it's like, oh, this is just disgusting. And that's how the Colts are 2-0 because a guy used leverage on the kick, which, oh man, that I had trouble sleeping last night over that one. Only in the NFL, it happens at least 2-3 times a week where like it seems like a game's over and they're like, oh wait, there was a flag on the play.
There was a couple plays yesterday, like in the Seahawks Steeler game, the returner who it's kind of funny seeing the discussion floating around that. But like clearly the returner thought, I think it was like a college rule thing when he whiffed on catching
Caleb
it.
Johnson is ridiculous.
Because in college, for those who don't know, when it gets to the end zone, it's blown dead and it's a touchback. So I think he kind of defaulted maybe to that, but
you're not in college anymore. I mean, college players are getting paid now, but Caleb Johnson's getting a paycheck, and you're supposed to be a professional. And I don't blame him as much as I do the special teams coach. Like, how can you not know the basic rules of the kickoff if that's what your primary role is being on the special teams? That's what do you do all week?
Yeah,
I couldn't believe that.
Yeah. But also proves a point though of how it's just like it's going to be probably like the Bills, the Ravens, and maybe we'll see who else down in the AFC.
still the Texans. I
don't know about that.
All the that's all the AFC traditionally being dominant the past several years, and 4 or 5 team deep in terms of Super Bowl contenders is now a 2-team race if you want to evaluate it through. The second week of the season, Ravens and Bills.
Yeah. And look, things can change, right? Like you said, Jim, this is week 2.
Right.
You don't know who's
16 more to go.
Right. You don't know who's going to possibly get hurt next week. You don't know who's going to bounce back and rattle off 4 games in a row, starting this week.
Rashee Rice, really be that important to the Chiefs that he could, turn him around. But
speaking of him, I know this is completely off topic, but this is blowing up right now.
I saw where you're going.
Free 4?
Yeah.
The Chiefs players in pregame warmups were wearing shirts that said free 4 for Rashee Rice. And somebody's saying that's an awful, awful look for the Chiefs, and now it's blowing up.
I agree.
And Travis Kelce is seen wearing one, and I don't know who this is, but yeah. I just saw that. I didn't realize that.
This isn't like a guy who got popped for smoking weed. You know what I mean? Like this is ridiculous. But hey, at least it's not one of our teams, so don't have to worry about that.
And they can't win a 1-score game now. They're 0-2 after winning 17 straight, an NFL record.
Right. Yeah.
So
and they were home.
Yeah.
And it was a revenge game. They got blown out in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. They should have had that one marked on their calendar. It was in Kansas City, and now the Chiefs are 0-2.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the main things I noticed with the Chiefs too, before we kind of get more back to the Bills here a little bit, but I know it was a topic a little bit last year, but man, this year a lot of mistakes going on in the trenches for them
For
on
the
both
Chiefs?
sides of the ball. Yeah,
Yeah, they're a
stuff you
mess.
usually
They
don't
might not,
see.
they might not finish 500. They might be the worst team in their division.
Yeah, it's funny that they're dead last right now.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling. It's a nice feeling.
Well, they get the Giants this Sunday night.
Well, yeah.
But then they get Baltimore.
What appears, well, I mean, who knows? Maybe this past week was a little bit of a fluke for the Giants. I don't know, but they at least appear they got a little bit of bark in them to some degree, you know.
Yeah, I think that, you look at that game, and similar to the way I'd look at the Miami-New England game this week, is that they're just a couple of crappy teams,
Yeah.
organizations, with no real aspirations for the postseason, probably on either side. And so when you put two crappy teams together, you get crazy outcomes.
Yeah,
Like the Miami game, New
Yeah.
England game was ridiculous. I
Yeah.
just think past couple years, I kind of felt like, man, what a balanced league the NFL is. Certainly there's some teams that are the cream of the crop, but for the most part, you can never take a week off. Blah blah blah. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of bad teams in the league right now.
yeah. It's not a great. At least 2 weeks out, 2 weeks in, with 2 more games still to go technically in this week. But yeah, there's a lot more questions surrounding a lot more teams than I kind of maybe anticipated. All right, we talked obviously about it last week. I think we have to do a little bit on it again this week. Matt Prater 3 for 3 this week.
He's my kicker.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it last week because there is going to be probably a money hit here that the Bills may have to take should they go the route of sticking with Prater. But, he is making a case to hold this job here should, in another couple of weeks, once Bass is either able to come off the IR or what. But Prater just giving the Bills all the more reason to keep him around. Another 3 for 3, long of 52, 3 for 3 extra points. I mean,
That's what
gosh
you
darn
want.
professional stat line yesterday from him.
That's what you want from your kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 6 for 6 with field goals, including 2. I would say like that 52-yarder yesterday wasn't easy, and then that one before halftime against Baltimore, and of course the game-winning
Game winner.
kick too. He had a run on the field with time winding down, and then he's made all his extra points. And you look around the league again yesterday, all the missed extra points, the field goals, even again I think in New Orleans it might have been. I'm just thinking, how can you miss an extra point inside a dome?
Yeah.
And it just keeps happening. And I think maybe Atlanta had one last night. I can't remember.
No, Atlanta had none.
Well,
They
not
had
their kicker.
they had
was
they had
Vikings
the
kicker.
they had the one, yeah. Parker Rome was the guy now in Atlanta. The only one yesterday that was in question was his first one where it went literally above the post. And there was the big thing about that, but
Yeah, so you have a 41-year-old who's making all his kicks, and then when you look around the league, they're not.
yeah.
So yeah, I like what I see, and he was signed to the active roster just because they didn't want to keep wasting a spot because you can only elevate 2 guys each week. So elevating a kicker for 4 weeks or 3 weeks would make sense. So we'll see. But again, Tyler Bass has all that money owed to him, so
Yeah.
I don't know what they'll do.
Yeah, the Bass thing, like we mentioned last week, for whatever detail here, is essentially a $6 million cap hit in dead money, which isn't really a ton in the grand scheme of it, but could certainly, if you really want to be that guy, could result in.
Just makes you
Not
wonder
paying
why the
anybody,
Bills
but-
would go ahead and offer Bass that kind of money.
Right.
He had never really solidified himself as someone you could have total confidence in. And for guys like Matt Prater that you can just pick up off the street, like what the heck?
Yeah.
It gets worse. Curtis Samuel inactive again, healthy scratch. He has a $9 million cap hit. It's the 8th most, highest cap hit on the team, and he's an inactive for a second straight week. Meanwhile, Tyrell Shavers, who did make the team and earned it, is being made active over him.
Yeah.
So Bean's worst signing.
Maybe
Maybe
a
one
lot
of
of
the
bad
worst.
signings. Has he had any really great signings that were like wow, other than drafting Josh Allen, which is probably the smartest thing that anybody ever did? 'Cause
Yeah, he's had a couple bad drafts too.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't really know. I guess it depends what window you want to view it through. Like maybe the Von Miller thing up front, but like even then that didn't end great. Like
No, he
I don't
never.
know.
He was brought in to anchor a Super Bowl caliber defense, and
Yeah.
he never really gave us a complete season. And
the Amari Cooper trade,
yeah, I
it
mean,
was meh.
so far the Bosa deal's looking
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
And
So far.
he's a nice veteran presence on that defense as long as he can stay healthy. I mean, he had a great game yesterday.
Yep.
2 forced fumbles and a sack.
Yeah.
And he played, 70% of the snaps. Hopefully, with him though, you just feel like because it is such a long season. So is it going to be next Thursday night? Is it going to be in December? But at some point, he's going to get injured, right? Because he generally always does.
Yeah, it's scary on the short week like this. You wonder, they really might have to limit his snaps, just simply based on his history.
Yeah.
Because that's a quick turnaround for a guy that did play quite a bit yesterday.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they are in a position where they can limit his stats because they just dominate the Dolphins.
Yeah.
So it will be a test for the defense. It looked like the Dolphins got their offense together a little bit yesterday. They put up some points.
But they've given up 66
Yeah.
in 2 games.
Yeah.
So against this Bills offense, I mean,
They're going
I
to
feel
have
like they should move the ball at will.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just a question of how their defense will do. Will Matt Milano play? Will Taron Johnson play? Ed Oliver probably won't. Got his foot stepped on. He was in a walking boot. But still, I mean, if the Dolphins are that bad, I think they could still roll them.
Hopefully. I mean, we were really upset with the secondary after the Baltimore game, and that wasn't much of an issue yesterday with, Taron Johnson being out. So, we'll see how it is against a more prolific passing offense next week or Thursday night, 3 days from now.
Yeah.
Remember, Tyreek Hill has had some bad games against the Bills. He has not been himself. For some reason, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But of course, they still have Jalen Waddle. They still have a really good running back. Tua can run, I guess, but I mean, he takes a lot of sacks. I don't know.
I mean,
I feel good about it, but
Yeah, I'm not worried about this Thursday night game, but I do hate the short turnaround. I mean, let's face it, it just doesn't make sense for the NFL to have these Thursday night games. We know why they do it, just to get some more exposure for the league on a night but it's like right in the middle of the week when football's supposed to be a Sunday, Sunday night game, Sunday night, Monday, and then now all of a sudden the Bills have to play a game at home at least on Thursday night, 3 days after let's say 4 days after they played a full NFL game. And I've never played in an NFL game, but I play like 18 holes of golf and I need a couple days to recover physically. I can't imagine playing an NFL game and then turning around 4 days later and putting on the pads and heading out there for another one.
no, I mean, the players have talked about how much they frankly hate playing. They say it without kind of having to say it because, you can get dinged for what we would call actions detrimental for saying stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, the players don't like it. They know for them, it's obviously a big safety hazard, right? I mean, you talk about the golf element of it, right, Jim? But you're right. These guys' bodies need more than 3 days essentially to recuperate for a blood sport,
Yeah,
essentially.
they're normally getting 6 full days, 7 full days, and it's just it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I think, and so going into this Thursday's game, one of my biggest concerns, other than just getting the win, would be who's going to get hurt this week, because the percentage chance of a major injury is raised, given the short turnaround.
And look, like you guys alluded to it, this is a spot where, for me, I always call in college football, look, this is just a not must win, but you know what the deal is in this game, essentially, right? If you're the Bills, on paper, handle your business, keep it moving, but obviously it's way deeper than that. And
then you get 10 days off, and you play New Orleans at home, and then you get another week off, and you play another full week rest, and then you play New England at home.
Yeah.
And then after that, you get one extra day rest because you're on Monday night at Atlanta. So, and then's your bye week. So, there's no reason that the Bills should not be 6-0 heading into that bye week. But then becomes a long, stretch between the bye week in October 26th when they come back on the field after the bye and they have to play, 10 straight weeks?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the playoffs.
Yeah. It's the longest slog for the Bills, obviously, and I think that's why I go back to when we were talking about a couple weeks ago, that full season preview element of, like, if there is a quote-unquote saving grace with what appears to be the NFC East again this year, it's, hopefully for the Bills you can kind of wrap it up early-ish on again, and you
week 7 we're
Right.
going to have it clinched.
hopefully on wood, but like it's one of those things where hopefully you get to the point like last year where you can give guys that week if you want to at the end of the year and not have to worry about say fighting for home field or anything like that, and you just kind of keep it moving. There's also an interesting element to this game. I don't know. The NFL is obviously vastly different than say the college game, but Mike McDaniel, after the game yesterday for the Dolphins, looked like he just had no idea what to say in the press conference. It appears as though, look, I don't know if it's necessarily a lost locker room, but it's definitely a lost
Clown show.
It's a lost cause in
Clown show
Miami.
in Miami.
Do the Bills force the first mid-season firing of the NFL season following Thursday night this week?
Hopefully. That guy needs to not have a way home from Buffalo.
Yeah.
And I think you look at Tyreek Hill, like, again, yesterday, he's just, like, throwing up his hands, like, not on the same communication, just fed up with being with Tua. I mean, the offensive line is bad. There is times where Tua doesn't even have time to throw, but at the same time, I mean, it's all a joke. There's nothing. The defense is horrible. You're not going to win like that.
And Tyreek Hill is kind of untradeable right now, too. I mean, there's a lot of teams that could use him.
Yeah, Adam Schefter said that no team has called yet on Tyreek Hill.
He's got these domestic violence, allegations on top of everything else and the way he acts. And I do think that for the most part, NFL teams are not interested in the drama brought on by these diva wide receivers anymore.
No, especially one with even more domestic violence allegations and other just random, what I call random law enforcement-esque stuff.
Remember when he was driving to the game and he got pulled over and that became a whole issue instead of him just
Yeah. It's crazy. So anyway, for Thursday night here, we've had a lot of movement already here on the betting lines. If you look at it this way, opened at 10.5 for the Bills being favorites. It's already up to 13.5.
You don't see that.
I mean,
NFL divisional matchups.
it's crazy.
What was Baltimore-Cleveland just at this past
11, I think.
Yeah, 11.
So this might be the highest so far.
Yeah.
Did they cover what? I mean, I know.
No, Cleveland got smoked.
41-17.
Yeah. But, I mean, at least that line, even when it opened to when it closed, obviously with the game, it stayed within that 10.5 to about, I saw 12.5 in one market, but it stayed within that window. There was never any huge movements. To see a 3-point jump already in the matter of essentially 10 hours is nutty. Like, that's crazy.
They're going by the history, too. I mean, it's just been dominance. They've won 12 of their last 13 against the Dolphins. I mean, last year they put up 30 points in each game.
Mm-hmm.
And how about this? I know this is nothing to do with the spread, but the Dolphins haven't won in Buffalo since 2016.
Wow. And
that day, Sammy Watkins caught 2 touchdown passes.
Hey.
So that's how long it's been.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is a high spread. I don't think I would ever.
Who was quarterback in that team?
That's what I was about
Matt
to
Moore
say.
Was the Dolphins quarterback, and the Bills was Tyrod.
Had to have been
Taylor, who played last night for the Jets, or yesterday for the Jets against the Bills. Yep. Tyrod Taylor in 2016?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say it either would have to have been Tyrod or now I'm blanking on the name. So that's a really good job by me, theater of the mind. Okay, so yeah, I mean, why not bring out Pat White and JP Lossman, I say, for this game?
They could probably start Mitch and still win. I'm not even kidding.
Oh,
yeah.
The Dolphins' defense is that bad. Yeah. Look what Drake made it yesterday. I mean,
it's true.
Move the ball at will.
Trubisky's serviceable. I mean,
no, I agree.
Like, just shows yesterday, how first of all that he's a professional.
Yeah.
That he can come in and immediately on the first play they have confidence for him to throw it downfield.
Mm.
Obviously against better teams, you you want Josh Allen, but in a game like against the Dolphins at home next week, if Trubisky started, I think they might not be 13-point favorites, but they'd probably still be 10-point favorites.
Yeah, and they could just hand it to James Cook like they did Week 4 last year and won 31-10 in Miami. The game that Tua got hurt in the fourth quarter with his third concussion or whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't.
James Cook had 3 touchdowns, 2 rushing, 1 receiving.
Yeah.
Josh Allen did nothing.
Great to see Cook do this too. After signing the big contract, a lot of guys have big years going into a contract year, and then they sign the contract and they kind of check out a little bit. But Cook's on a mission.
Yeah. He's got that dog in him. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, hey, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Mitch Trubisky at some point in this game. I just, let's not get too crazy here. Let's let Josh Allen.
We don't
What's
want
what's our prediction? Can we give our prediction?
Yeah, I say we can. For what it's worth, the over-under is at 49.5. It opened at 48.5, so clearly
I think it's
we got stuff happening, we were both, I think all three of us were pretty much in the ballpark for the most part last week in terms of just how we saw the game probably going.
We saw it as a 7 to 10 point game, and it
Yeah.
was a 20-point game.
but we all kind of more or less had it as like the Bills weren't going to need to freak out in the sense of whatever. So, yeah, I'd imagine this game is going to have maybe a similar feel to like the overall element, I would say, of the Jet game. Thursday night. I hate the Thursday night because there's always a little bit of a Thursday night chaos element of it. Like even like the Packers who were in control the whole game last week, the Commanders still kind of had a little bit of a fight back in the fourth quarter. Stuff like that always kind of frightens me with the Thursday night game, but I think I'm going to go 31-18 Buffalo. They get the win. Uh-oh. I had Kyle's.
always have such like almost exact. I just wrote
right
this
on
down.
the spread.
I had 31-17
Yeah, I mean.
because they'll probably score a late touchdown
Yeah,
like the Jets did.
yeah.
They had 3 for a long time, 3 points.
I'm going to say it's going to be 46-6.
Wow.
And the 6 will be a touchdown, but they'll go for 2 and not get it.
So you're
Be great.
Jim, you're really banking on this thing being like Ohio State playing Ohio. And
I'm banking on it like the Bills playing the Dolphins.
yeah.
And, Dolphins are just a clown show right now.
I just
Anything could happen, something could turn around,
when it's crazy though when we started this podcast 3 years ago, right? We perceived the Dolphins as being the thorn in the side of the Bills,
the AFC
right? And it just has not happened at all. In fact, it's regressed to the point where none of us preseason had the Dolphins as being the biggest in-division thorn in the side for the Bills either this year.
No,
it's
we were
kind of
talking
crazy.
maybe the Patriots might be.
Right. I mean, it's nutty, especially with we've talked about the amount of talent that Miami even has. It's kind of crazy that we, frankly, have them all as a very deep afterthought.
They got some skill position talent in terms of like names, but they don't have.
No.
They're a joke. They're a joke. I mean, they might. Well, who knows? There's a lot of bad teams in the NFL, but I'm saying that Miami might have trouble winning one game this year because I think it's going to get worse from here, especially after the Bills spank them on Thursday.
What's hold on, let me pull up here quick. See what the Dolphins' exact schedule is. So they go. Oh, they have the Jets on. Is that Monday night after the Bills? Yeah, it has to be a 7:15.
It is.
Yeah.
It's double.
And then,
Boy, the nation will be tuning in for that one.
boy, at Carolina, home against the Chargers, at Cleveland.
They're going to lose all those games,
Yeah,
including Carolina.
yeah. At Atlanta, home against Baltimore.
Loss.
Then it's home against Buffalo again.
Loss.
Home against Washington. Oh no,
Loss.
home against
Special
Washington,
game.
but it's in Munich or whatever.
Still going to lose. Don't matter what country it's in.
Home against New Orleans.
Lose to the Saints at home.
At the Jets.
That's a loss.
At the Steelers.
It's going to lose that one.
Home against the Bengals.
Yeah, they'll lose that no matter who's quarterback.
Home against the Buccaneers.
Loss.
And then at the Patriots to end the season.
Loss.
Wow.
Winless.
They'd be the only
Look, anything
team
can
only
happen,
team to have.
Obviously, they could have won that game yesterday against New England.
Yeah. So your prediction is there will be the first team in Big Four sports history to go undefeated, and then also have a winless
1972,
and also have a winless season.
And then over 50 years later, they don't win one.
And in the biggest moment, what did Tua do? He folded.
Yeah.
They had a chance. They still had a chance after the Patriots scored, and it was a 3-and-out. The fourth down was a sack, I believe, and I think that happened. No, of course it didn't happen in week 1 because they lost 33-8. But Tua doesn't really have clutch.
No. And look, they'll probably win a game or two in there somewhere. It's the NFL, There's a lot of
At Carolina,
teams.
Bryce Young looks like first half Bryce Young. He doesn't look like he looked at the end of last year.
I'm shocked. That was one of my teams that I thought was going to be. I didn't think they were going to win the Super Bowl or anything, but I thought they would be markedly improved.
Makes two of us.
But they did come back and have a chance in that game.
True.
So I'm not totally giving up. I think they covered the spread. I think that was one of my picks on the betting pod last week.
Yeah.
And I think they covered, but they did cover. It was 6.5.
Yeah. So. Yeah, but
Backdoor cover. Backdoor.
Look, good teams win, great teams cover.
Bad teams like the Dolphins lose.
Yeah.
So
Get
I'm
run
bashing
over.
them so bad. I hope that the Bills don't lay an egg on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Old
no
takes exposed.
No, I think
It's almost boring, after that week 1 game
Yeah.
to, now we got the Dolphins. What's there to talk about?
Yeah.
We'll go down there on Thursday night. We'll beat them. Then they'll get 10 days off. Hopefully Milano's injury is nothing serious. Hopefully the secondary gets back. I don't know what the Hairston, the rookie quarterback's situation is, cornerback.
And remember, they have 2 guys that are suspended. They're both defensive guys, tackles, who are actually big pieces, Michael Hoyt and Larry Ojanobi. And I think they'll be big pieces to get back too. When I think they're eligible to come back week 7, but it's a bye, so week 8 they'll be back.
And then Ed Oliver, obviously, get healthy.
Yeah, I wonder who stepped on his foot. Obviously, it wasn't intentional, but we never heard who it was. It was bad enough for a walking boot and crutches, and man, that sucks because he had a great week 1.
Yeah, and it was
Thought maybe a career year ahead, and who knows how long he'll miss. But
And again, they might not need him against the Jets or the Dolphins, but when, we're talking about winning a game in January against Baltimore to get to the Super Bowl, I think you want Ed Oliver healthy and in there.
Oh yeah, I think a game, not to look too far down the schedule, but I think a good example of that would be maybe that Monday night game in Atlanta. Something like that where it looks like Atlanta's got some sort of improvement going on this year, obviously, and
I got that game. Last night's game between the Falcons and
Vikings.
the Vikings was so easy to read, and I didn't really have much action on it. But
Yeah.
you got 2 young quarterbacks, basically rookies. They're in their second year, but this is a rookie campaign of actually, McCarthy didn't play at all. Penix,
Right.
not much. So, of course it was going to be an ugly, low-scoring game with a lot of mistakes. I mean, but they both quarterbacks looked awful, I thought.
McCarthy for sure. I don't know about Penix. I think the tough part for this, and maybe it's skewing the viewpoint on it, is the Falcons at least moved the ball pretty good, no matter what.
Bijan.
Right. But I mean, also Penix, when he had to throw, looked like
Kyle Pitts a few times.
was
Drake
I mean,
London,
unlike
the owners aren't too happy with him, I'm sure.
well,
How about Darnell Mooney? He was supposed to have a, kind of break out again this year. I don't know. The game was,
McCarthy looked bad.
yeah.
Like, that was
Looked bad for most of this
bad.
week 1 game until the fourth quarter, maybe the late third quarter.
Yeah.
He's holding the ball too long, and that's what you see with these young quarterbacks. They just,
Justin Fields does it, and he's been in the league for a few years.
and he got hurt because of it.
Yeah. But hey, luckily Josh Allen, we don't have to worry about that with him in that sense too much. So
He can do whatever he wants.
yeah.
It's fine by us.
The guy is just, man,
Here's your
pretty
stat.
good opening. Yeah.
For the 5th time in 9 seasons, the Giants and Jets have started 0-2.
Ooh.
That's actually hard to believe. That you can't even just get one win one of those years. You've done it 5 times in 9 years. And
Yeah, they both at least this year had one game that they probably should have closed out each of them. You know.
another weird random stat. There have been 12 field goals of 55 plus yards this season. That has never happened in the first 2 weeks of NFL season.
Well, I think the kickers are obviously getting stronger and better, number one, and now they're letting them use their own kicking ball. Or what they always had a kicking ball, but now it's their own kicking ball.
Yeah.
For whatever that means. But yeah, I mean, certainly I wish the Bills had Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a new part of the game now where you are literally in field goal range the second you pass midfield.
Yeah. I mean, I know I think we kind of mentioned it a little bit. I don't know if it's necessarily on Bills Weekly, but I know we mentioned on one of, whether it was like the betting podcast or something like that. But I mean, like Cam Little for Jacksonville makes a 70-yarder in preseason. I mean, I'm sitting here going like,
Aubrey's kick last night would
yeah.
have been good from 75.
Yeah. I mean, it was just it's
So
crazy.
The risk is, so you'll see that at the end of a game, obviously when it's your last chance, but are you going to be willing to kick a 70-yard field goal in like the first or second quarter of a game where if you miss it, the other team's already basically in the red zone?
Probably not.
I mean, it's kind of crazy if you think about it.
I mean, I'm for, I guess, the evolution of how we have the kickers now, but like from a field position standpoint, nah, we ain't. We ain't doing that.
Probably not.
Maybe just Aubrey inside you would do it with.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Although Chris Boswell has been very good for Pittsburgh
Yeah.
for years now.
He's done it
Very
mostly
dependable.
outdoors.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you want that from your kicker, dependability more than explosiveness, I think.
Yeah.
But in Aubrey, you got both.
Yeah. I mean, he is the probably true outlier in this. Like, and they talked a little bit about it. I saw on the
Maybe being NFL MVP.
on the broadcast about how the only reason why he got into American football kicking was because his wife said, "I bet you could miss it like that too."
Yeah.
I'm like, damn. Yeah, I mean, hey, he is true. He is the true combination of accuracy and distance, and even then, for where the game is at now with kickers, I mean, that is a rarity still. You know.
So what do you think about the Chiefs? I just read this stat. So they're 0-2. Just 5 of 41 teams have made the NFL playoffs after starting 0-2.
Yeah.
Will the Chiefs be the 6th? Or do you think they're actually in trouble? Remember, they get the Giants and Baltimore next.
Well,
I think they're in big trouble.
And they play the Bills, of course, later in the year.
statistically speaking, they're in trouble. The element is I always go back to in this. You know, I think for us, it's kind of like we have to remember, saying everything about we did with like the Patriots for years, and yet they always just hung around and everything like that. So if there's one team that can break the mold, it probably is going to be this Kansas City team.
I agree.
I
So
don't
make the Super Bowl.
Well,
And
but
win
there,
it and then win
but
it.
there is something though this year where they just don't look like they visually do not look the same.
Yeah, because
you
they're
know?
terrible. Like
Yeah.
Kelsey's old and not good anymore.
Yeah.
He was the focal point of the offense during all those Super Bowl runs. Mahomes is even a little overweight. He's looking like he's just looking a little like not as quick and nimble as in the past. Kareem Hunt and a half-injured Pacheco, like those aren't good running backs.
Xavier Worthy, was he out
Juju
yesterday?
Schuster-Smith.
Yeah, Worthy
Worthy
was
was
officially
out.
out.
Who was the guy?
I will say this: the bright spot,
Thornton caught the touchdown.
is the bright spot might be Thornton. I think there's
Yeah,
something there.
Maybe,
like,
but the people are like, well, why didn't they throw it up top to him earlier? Well, because if you do that, if you use one of your plays to do that early on in your drive, then you're not good enough to get the first down. In the other two plays.
and the one time they did, Mahomes incredibly overthrew him.
Yeah, that was
like
shocking.
it wasn't even
He was open.
close. Like it was a bad overthrow.
And then from the defensive side, I mean, I guess they're a solid defense still, but they're aging in some of their key positions. And, Andy Reid is obviously still a great coach, but No, I don't think Kansas City will make the playoffs at 0-2, and I think that they won't even finish in the top 2 teams in their division.
Yeah.
The tides have turned in the NFL.
Their leading rusher is Patrick Mahomes with 123 yards.
Not good, Bob.
And their leading receiver is Hollywood Brown with 129.
I mean,
Didn't
speaking.
a lot of those come in week 1?
Well, I was about to say though. Speaking of like Kelsey too, Jim. Like he had a bad drop at the goal line yesterday too.
Yeah, he's a joke now. Like he's getting married to Taylor Swift or whatever, and he's this big pop star now. But he's an aging tight end. It's not easy to play tight end in the NFL. You got to block, you got to run routes, and the older you get, the harder. It's just hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at some of the young tight ends in the league right now that are coming up, and and then you look at Kelsey. Who would you rather have?
Wow.
Who would I rather have? I'm trying to think. Why am I drawing blanks?
Well, you got Trey McBride. Yeah. Kyle Pitts had a nice game last night, I suppose.
T.J. Hawkinson.
Yep. Wow. Tyler Warren for the Colts. People seem to be pretty high on.
Dalton Kincaid when he catches the ball.
Well, I was going to say
he was disappointing yesterday.
Dawson Knox dropped even more. He dropped 2.
They were both disappointing yesterday. If you're wanting to look at something to be disappointed about.
To me, you look at even guys within that age range at the position, like Zach Ertz still is doing pretty well for himself in Washington. I mean,
Dallas Goedert was hurt yesterday.
Yeah, but Goddard, when he's healthy, though, the past few years has really been still a rock-solid option.
But Kelsey was the motor that made that offense run.
Yeah.
When in those prime Super Bowl, for the past, how many years has it been now? Past 6 years?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, they had other weapons, like Rashee Rice and Patrick Mahomes and Pacheco before he got injured, but it all worked because of Kelsey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just not the same.
Yep. So I'm going to say no, they're not going to make the playoffs, and boy, won't that be fun, A lot of teams will be happy to not have the Chiefs in the playoffs.
Not worrying about Cincinnati for a second straight year.
More than 2-0 though.
Unless they make a trade.
They're 2-0.
I don't
turf
think...
toe. He might not need surgery.
No, he does. They officially said
this morning.
Yeah.
So he's out for
3
months.
So I mean, he still could return, but I mean, by that point, who knows where they are?
And look, I mean, we don't know. Again, Jake Browning is not Burrow by any means, but he's above 500 as a start for the Bengals when he's had to start. He's clearly got good chemistry with the weapons around him. You never know, but
if they go 500 the rest of the way, they
would sneak in.
Yeah, they have
500.
left.
My hot take: 500 might be enough to win that division, but
10 wins.
If
they go 500, they could get 10 wins.
They probably sneak in.
Last year they went 9-8 and they barely missed. Yeah, I mean, if they do go 500, yeah.
Especially with the AFC this year, the way we were thinking it's going to break out, I think a 10-7 would get you in through one of the wild cards anyway, for sure.
But then they don't feel like a threat in the postseason.
No, I don't feel like a threat in the regular season, even with Joe Burrow. To be honest with you, I mean, they just don't have the defense, and
so it's really only Baltimore, which would be crazy
at the moment. But let's see how it goes in that Chargers-Raiders game tonight.
Yeah.
You got to remember, Chargers got Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
And
I feel like they are going to win tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I got like a thing for the Raiders this year. Same thing with Jacksonville, who disappointed me yesterday in a major way. Major way.
And I know, Kyle, you brought it up earlier with one of your guys', but, I mean, Houston does play tonight as well against Tampa Bay, so...
Yeah, I don't think they're a Super Bowl threat. I definitely think they probably will be a playoff team, and who knows, when you get in the playoffs, anything can happen, so... They have talent, I mean...
Yeah.
They got one thing you need, and, going back to... There has been instances over the history of the Super Bowl where... guys like, who was the Ravens quarterback 20 years ago that won the Super Bowl?
Oh, Trent Dilfer?
Trent Dilfer. Perfect example.
Yeah.
Or maybe Mark Rippon. Was Mark Rippon win it for the Washington?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's examples of guys like that. Yeah. You could even throw Phil Simms in there and say that he,
Ooh.
And I loved the Giants back then.
You are rocking a boat of a generation of fans on that one.
But in this NFL,
yeah,
this current NFL, you you're not going to win a Super Bowl with one of those types of quarterbacks. They need to be an MVP caliber type of quarterback, and I think that Justin Herbert is that caliber.
Wait, was it Sims or wasn't it Hofstetter?
Hostetler.
Yeah.
Well, both of them. That just shows the Giants won those Super Bowls not because they had. And look, I love Phil Simms, a little less love for Jeff Hostetler, but they won those Super Bowls because of Lawrence Taylor, and all the they were just Harry Carson.
Right.
It was a different era in the NFL.
But the Hofstetter one for me pays dividends with my Jake Browning take, so that's why I'm gonna.
Well, and then he went on to the Raiders, I think, Hostetler.
Yes.
Uh,
And hey, Bills fans, it also helps for me, Frank Reich. Albeit didn't win, but I mean, for those weeks he got the Bills to the promised land.
So like I said, I did think the Raiders were going to be good, but I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender because Geno Smith's their quarterback. I think they're going to be a wild card team.
Wait, did we even mention Brock Bowers for a tight end? That guy, I would.
Right, there's another one.
But he's also super young though on this spectrum. But yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying like.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that's like the tight end right now in this league that you want.
Yeah.
Not old ass Travis Kelce who's showing up to the game in the suit shorts or whatever that was. That probably Taylor Swift picked out for him, and and you know what? I think this Taylor Swift Travis Kelce thing is finally proven to kind of be the distraction that people thought it would be.
Yeah. And
it was fun for a year. Now it's like, oh, guess what? We're 0-2. Like, what's Taylor Swift doing here?
Did you see what he said on the sideline? It was all over Twitter. He said, "I'm effing tired of this," and then spiked his helmet.
Slammed his helmet down. Yeah, I saw that.
Wasn't it after a touchdown, right?
Yeah. So, like, what is he just tired of the Eagles, or is he
tired of losing?
That was a good moment. You scored a touchdown.
Yeah, I think it's losing. I think it's part of me wonders if he's kind of voicing his frustration just for the overall maybe team side of it, where it's like where the hell is everybody else type thing.
Or maybe like I need the ball more type of deal. Like
for sure. Yeah.
But like I said, you're not that good anymore, dude. You're not. Sorry.
It'd be cool to see them just fall apart and have all these issues.
Yeah,
they've had it so easy. It's been so like they've cruised. They've had close games that they won that they shouldn't have won, and
you're not going to get the favor of the officials like they have during that run anymore too. Once you've kind of turned, you lose that luster. You won't get some of those close calls. But I don't know. This league has become crazy in terms of how it's officiated too. I guess it's for the best, but like it's almost to the point where you're not going to even need to have human beings out there anymore, except for to put the ball where it needs to go, because every single thing, you have those clear and obvious replay overturns early in the game, which is good, right? You want them to get it right, but then you see things like that stupid penalty in the Denver game on that last second field goal that, where 1 minute Denver won and the next second they lost because of some, and I suppose it was the right call, but if they didn't call it, would anybody have even said anything?
No.
But that's the difference between a win and a loss. That's for a team like Denver, or both those teams, it's crucial.
Yeah.
And that's definitely probably happened before. They just that crew didn't call it.
Yeah. Maybe they maybe it's a point of emphasis. But yeah, it just it's not satisfying as a viewer or a bettor.
Yeah.
To see a game end like that. Because not only did they miss the field goal and they call the penalty, but now he goes up into range where he can make it.
And the Colts didn't deserve to even get in the field goal range. Did you see they ran the ball 3 straight times?
Right.
They wanted to chew the clock.
Yep.
And they only got 1 yard on each carry. That's why it was so deep of a field goal. So, they just got lucky, really. They got favored.
Super lucky.
But again, that's why I'm not high on the Colts. I think this is nothing. A 2-0 start, big deal. Like, go show me if you can, do this throughout a half a season, and then I'll be more.
When's Jonathan Taylor going to get hurt? And that would really, derail their momentum.
I don't know. I'd rather
decent defense.
If I
They've
win,
scored on every possession, offensive possession. They're not going to keep doing that.
no.
Right. against
And they haven't
teams.
punted in the first 2 games, first time in the Super Bowl era. That's not going to continue.
Right.
So,
Well, I don't know. As long as I'm winning, I'd rather be lucky than good. So, hey, either way, I think that about does it. So, another Victory Monday here in Bills
Let
Mafia
our
land.
loyal listener base know what our plans are for next week since
Yeah.
it's a Thursday night game.
So, Monday morning, same as usual,
Yep.
10 a.m. No sense in really going early. You never know what might pop up anyway over the weekend that might result in needing to come back in anyway. And
Well, in a week like this
Yeah.
where the Bills won easy against the Jets and like we're hoping the same thing, we ended up talking a lot more about the
League
other
as
things
well,
going
yeah.
around in the league. So next week might be the same thing if the Bills, handle business, which I'm pretty confident they will.
yeah.
It's 13-point favorites.
Just look, Bills, just give us something cool to talk about. I don't know. Maybe Josh Allen can do a backflip or something.
Maybe
I don't
Keon
know.
Coleman can catch a ball.
Yeah, see? Look at us spitballing ideas. We're helping you guys out on that one. So, yeah, this normal time next week, nothing crazy following Thursday night, Monday at 10 a.m. So, we'll be back at it then. Hopefully a victory extended weekend, I guess, for Bills Mafia, then technically in the cards for it, as opposed to just a straight-up Victory Monday. So, guys, appreciate you as always. Can listen to Bills Weekly here on FingerLakes1.com, the FingerLakes1.com YouTube channel, in all major podcasting platforms. We'll be back at it again next Monday, 10 a.m. Until then, let's go Buffalo.
Finger Lakes one